at 1 p.m. right here on Kcaa for Chosen Generation Radio, the show where no topic is off limits and everything is filtered through biblical glasses. Dynamic interviews and no fake news. It all happens live at 10:50 a.m., 102.3 FM, 106.5 FM, and online at kcaaradio.com, 1 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm Pastor Greg. Please tune in. Kcaa, the stations that leave no listeners behind.
Kcaa.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
This is Pastor Greg from Chosen Generation Radio Show, heard right here on KCAA, 1 p.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Do any of these sound familiar? Not sleeping well, waking up tired, drinking more coffee than usual, can't stay focused, craving sugary drinks and snacks, feel like you're stuck on a treadmill, having trouble managing your weight, not sick but not firing on all cylinders? Any one of these could mean that you might have a system overload, and Thyroadrenal might just be right for you. Think about it. You've probably been feeling like this for a while. Life has a way of wearing you down, and if you aren't getting the right nutrients, then physical and emotional wear and tear will take its toll. Most of us at some time or another could use some nutritional support for our adrenal and thyroid glands to bring things back in balance. Our bodies respond well to optimal nutrition to keep daily energy levels up and stress levels down. Try Thyroadrenal from Michael's naturopathic programs, a nourishing support formula with vitamins, minerals, and herbs to put back what life takes out. Look for Michael's on the label. We're serious about good health. Thyroadrenal is available at leading health food stores nationwide. If you don't see it on the shelf, then ask for it by name. Thyroadrenal.
Kcaa Loma Linda.
I'm sick and tired of hearing things from uptight, short-sighted, narrow-minded hypocrites. All I want is the truth. Just give me some truth.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Truth Only Show here on KCA, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, 102.3 FM. You can check us out on truthonlyshow.com. You'll find on truthonlyshow.com our previous videos of past episodes, which you can watch over and over and hopefully send them to one of your friends. Send them our way and let them hear what we have to say on truthonlyshow.com. Now, here's the host of the show, David Rodriguez.
Good morning, everyone. Great to have you all here with us. Another one of our episodes of the Truth Only Show. Here on 1050 AM. And anyway, it's great to be here with you. I want to thank all of you for listening in, tuning in, and tell a friend about us. I think this show can be very helpful for everybody. I think we can all use it. It's good to hear some truth about ourselves. That's what we're all about here. Anyways, before I get started, I want to give thanks to the people that make this show possible. Our great engineer, Mr. Joe Pagano. Thank you, Joe. And our webmaster, Mr. Joel Strausser. Again, I saw Joel this morning, and he doing a great job, and thank you very much, Joel. And my co-host and producer, Michael, who's also makes this show possible. Anyways, for all that you new listeners out there, I just kind of want to give you a little idea of what we're about here. What we teach here is human nature, what I believe to be the most important thing that we can learn about in life. I think it's the most important. I don't know what else is more important than knowing about who you are, understanding who you are, how this beautiful and powerful mind that you have, learn how to use it and use it in your favor. You know, use it to create the good that you would like to experience, because I know that everybody out there would love to create some more good in their life. We all want it. I mean, it's in our heart. It's just part of us. That is part of our nature. We want a good life. So that's what we're here to do, help you out, give you a hand with that. Today, what I want to talk about is meditation. And I'm not really going to talk so much about teaching you how to meditate. That you're going to have to put some time yourself. But what I want to do, and I want to make it clear to you, or make it pretty obvious to you, why many of us struggle getting into a meditative state. But if you can understand what is going on, then it'll become much easier for you to meditate. And I think it's important that we all do. And I'm sure you have probably some ideas about meditation already, which is fine. But I just want to, like I said, I want to clarify. I want to make something a little more clearer, so you can get something out of it, the way your mind is working, in other words. Here, I'll just get right to the point. What we do is most all the time, we're really focused on three different things going on in our lives. This is so important for you to understand meditation, because what goes on in our minds more than anything else is our body, our environment, and time. Okay, let me explain that a little bit. A lot of our thinking is focused on our body. You know, when we have a problem, health-wise, maybe you got a pain or something, our mind is our attention is on our body, okay? And when we take our attention off our body, we're usually on our environment. What is going on in our world? What is going on in our own personal environment? That's what occupies most of our thinking. The other that I said was time. Time takes a little more explanation, so I won't go into that very much. Because time actually is, because we're always thinking about time. I got to get this done. I have a certain amount of time. Time requires more explanation, but that's one of the things that takes up a lot of our thinking is time, your body, and your environment. But what happens to us is that the majority of our thinking is our body, environment, and time. When, you know, what we are is creatures of habit. So we get into the habit, and many times it's a lifelong habit of focusing our attention on those three things. So if you've ever tried to meditate, I think what most people have a problem with is clearing their minds of their body, their environment, and time. I think that's what's going on here. Now, if I can give you something else to think about that I believe will help you to get into a meditative state. And you may have heard this before, but I want to stress it a little bit more. You know, you've probably heard of this infinite mind. The infinite mind, our source, the creator of everything. Well, think about it this way. Okay, think about it like this. There is an energy, a source, something that keeps your heart beating. I mean, and this energy, this source, I think about it as intelligence. It has your heart beating constantly, and I don't know how many thousands of gallons that your heart beats in just a day or a week or a month. I mean, I'm sure you can look into science journals. They can probably tell you how much that is, but it's a whole lot. But that intelligence that has that your heart beating all the time, that intelligence that keeps you breathing all the time, and it's something that you don't have to think about. Actually, it is the intelligence that gives you life. It is the intelligence that gives the life to a tree. When you plant a seed in the ground, it makes it grow. It is that intelligence. It is the intelligence that moves everything. It is the intelligence that moves the atoms, moves the molecules. When you eat food, it digests the food for you. You don't have to think about it. So this is a greater intelligence. You and I did not come up with that. With our intelligence, we didn't come up with how to do that, how to create a body. We didn't come up with that. So you think about it as a greater intelligence, much greater intelligence than you and I have. Well, if you can understand that, and if you can rationalize and begin to believe that there is that intelligence that created you, maybe if you can begin to believe that, now maybe you have something that you can focus your attention on when you try to meditate. And maybe that will help you clear your mind of constantly thinking of your body, your environment, or time. I know that it has helped me a lot by focusing my attention on this energy, this source, this power that moves everything, moves the planets. When I focus my attention on that, the more I do, the easier it has been for me to learn to meditate. Because now I'm tapping into a different form of intelligence, something greater than myself. I mean, some people may call it God. That's fine. You may call it or think about it however you want. That's fine. But it does exist. You have to admit there is something that does move everything. There is something that has given life to everything. So, you know, when I've come to the conclusion that thing that continues to give me life, gave me life, and continues to give me life, it must love you. That's the only conclusion. It must love you. And it must have a greater love even that we can understand. Even a greater love that we know, that we can know. So the more I have gotten myself to clear my mind of my body, my environment, and time, I'm able to go to that place. And what I have now understood, and I've begun to experience, that I've been able to tap into thoughts that I had never thought before in all my life. Concepts that I have never thought in all my life. A whole new way of looking at my life. And I can tell you, I can give you one idea, something that is pretty incredible to me that I think about. When I've gotten myself into that state of mind, separated myself from my body, my environment, and time, and gotten into this other state of mind, tapping into this intelligence, I realized that mind can penetrate all space. That's pretty incredible. Which is true. I mean, here, think about this. Somebody that is specialized in the heart, somebody that has put in all their years of studying the heart, they at any time that they want, they can penetrate the heart in their mind. They can see it in their mind. They understand it. They can understand what is going on inside the heart. So they can penetrate the heart. Same thing with somebody that studies atoms, molecules. At any time when they've studied it enough and they've thought about it enough and they've visualized it enough, they can penetrate those places in their mind. They can go there in their minds. And you and I that have never done that, it's very difficult for us to go there. We have an idea, we have a concept, but somebody else that has put their attention on it, they can actually penetrate that place in their mind. It's just like an astronomer. Astronomer can take his mind and penetrate, go out into space, and he can see what is going on in his mind, and he can understand it and explain it to the rest of us. And the rest of us, we usually, what we'll do is we'll take their word for them, because we trust in them that they're telling us something that is true, something that they do understand, that they know how it works. But their mind can actually penetrate that place in space. So the mind can actually go anywhere it wants to go. My point is this. When you get into that meditative state, when you have separated your mind from body, your environment, and time, once you have done that, you can take your mind to that place. You can penetrate anything you want. You can discover whatever it is that you want to discover. That's where I believe all ideas exist. All brand new ideas that man has never thought before, that's where they exist. That's where they come from. That's where all new discovery comes from, when people learn to go there in their minds. Some people just have learned to fall into it, kind of naturally. Some people just do it and probably never realize what they're doing. But I'm talking to you, all of you that have trouble with that, have trouble going to a higher place in your mind to discover brand new things, brand new concepts. And one thing that is really, really great about this, what I'm talking about, when you get yourself into that meditative state, when you've tapped into this greater intelligence, spirit, we may call it spirit, okay? When we tap into that, one thing that when you understand this, that place, that spirit within yourself can never be sick. It cannot be sick. It cannot get cancer. It cannot get any form of disease. The only thing that gets cancer is your body. That's it. I don't know if you see what I'm trying to say here. If the cancer is going to be in the body, and you can go to this place in your mind that cannot get the cancer, maybe that's the solution to your health problems. Maybe if you can take your mind to that place, remove yourself from your thinking, from the body, from the environment, from your world around you, and go into that place where all things, where you can create all the good that you want. You can imagine and begin to believe that you are healthy now. Because in that place you can think whatever you want, and you can create any experience that you want. You are free to do that. Maybe the people that go into that place are the ones that do heal their bodies from cancer. Maybe the others don't. Something to think about. I'm just trying to give you something to think about. Maybe are the ones that are cured from cancer, and the ones that aren't are the ones that remain with the thinking of the body and their environment. Because when you're thinking the body and environment, you're beginning to put blame on something. You're blaming what is it? What did I eat? What was I around that caused it? Instead of going to that place in your mind where there is no illness, where everything is perfect, where you can go right into your own cells in your own body. You can go into the molecules, the cells, the atom in your body, in your mind, and see them all in perfect harmony, operating perfectly. You can do that. I know you can. Because in that space, that place in your mind, everything is possible. You can penetrate all space when you're in that state of mind. It is very difficult to penetrate all these things when you're just focused on body and your environment. So, going back to what I was talking about, meditation. If you're struggling with meditation and wondering, because I hear people saying all the time they have a lot of trouble meditating, so they go somewhere to try to have somebody teach them how to meditate, which is fine. But I just want you to understand that all of us spend the majority of time thinking about body, environment, and time. Even to the point where that is all we ever think about. Body, environment, and time. We make a habit of it, and we find it very difficult to separate our thinking from those three things. So maybe, I'm trying to give you something that can help you. Maybe now something that you can work towards when you sit down and try to meditate. Because when you tap into this greater intelligence, I'm sure you have heard of people talking about tapping into this greater intelligence, this higher intelligence, where all things are possible. I'll give you a couple of examples of what I think they're talking about. Tapping into this greater mind, this higher source of intelligence. I think where in Scripture, I like to quote Scripture, where it says, let this mind, think about this, let this mind be in you that was also in Christ. I think that's what it was talking about. It's talking about letting this mind, this greater intelligence, this greater power that you have access to, once you clear your mind from body, environment, and time, and you can go and tap into that greater mind, that greater intelligence, where you can take your mind any place you want to go and begin to create those experiences, the good experience that you would love to experience through this meditative state. I think that's what it's talking about. And have you ever seen people driving around with those bumper stickers on their windows? Were you ever seen this? I'm sure a lot of you have seen this, where they have this sign that says, not of this world. I believe that's what it's talking about. Not of this world. That's when you learn to separate your mind from body, environment, and time. Once you do that, you're not of this world. You're tapping into another greater world, another greater place in mind. You separate yourself from all your problems. You're separating your thinking, your mind, your whole self of who you are from all the problems that exist in your mind and in your body and in your environment. You separate yourself from that. You're no longer of this world. You're in a higher place. That's what I believe it's talking about. That's what I believe it means. Think about it. Remember the meditative state and where you can place your mind. Okay? Don't go away. We'll be right back. We're going to take a short break, and remember, you're listening to Kcaa 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, or 102.3 FM, and you're listening to the Truth Only Show at trutholnyshow.com. We'll be right back.
won't blink an eye. Oh, I'm not perfect all of the time. And when I move close to you, just give in. You know it feels right, but I'm not perfect.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Truth Only Show. That song was called "If I Cross the Line" by the Bell City Players. That's actually my song.
Right, beautiful song.
So
why don't you? What's the name of the band again? Let them know.
the Bell City Players, and you can follow us on Instagram or Facebook at the Bell City Players, and you can listen to that song and a few others on the bellcityplayers.bandcamp.com.
Check it out. You'll love it.
We'll hear another one in a minute.
All right.
So we're talking about meditation,
Right.
and I think before we get into meditation, for you, what are the reasons why people should be meditating?
Well, I believe if we just use our own thinking, what I talked about, body, environment, and time, if we just use that, I think we're very limited to our own thoughts, our own in other words, I think the most we can usually come up with is what we've experienced all of our life, right? I think what meditation does is opens you up to a whole brand new world of ideas, opens you up to a brand new world of things you've never thought before. That's why I think it's very important, where you can create the life that you want to live. That's why I think it's very important, meditation. Because you're going to a new way of thinking instead of the old way of just going round and round in circles. So.
There's an article on Psychology Today, The Science of Meditation, where it talks about, it's kind of a longer article, so I'll just sum up some of the things that it said, but saying that there's a lot of different ways to meditate, first of all.
There are. I'm sure there is.
And a lot of them, there can be as simple as, but all of them revolve around the same idea that you're talking about. Stop thinking about body, environment, and time, and just sit and think about where you are right now, and just kind of breaking the cycle of what you normally think about, taking a pause from that. And a lot of it's about accepting what's happening right now, accepting, and they call that mindfulness meditation.
Yeah.
And some of the other reasons why people do it, and probably the biggest reason why people start doing it, at least in the Western world, is that they're doing it to relieve, as a stress reliever.
Yeah.
It calms you down. Do you find that it does that for you as well?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It does. It does many things, many other things, but to me, besides calming you down, making you more relaxed, and seeing everything,
de-stressing.
Takes away stress and does that. Besides doing all that, what I was talking about was you're tapping into a world of creativity. And we all can tap into that world of creativity, of brand new ideas, things you've never thought before, to create a better life for yourself. So I'm taking it to another place, you know.
And I think that they quote a psychologist in here, Roger Thomas, a PhD. He was saying that no matter what you're doing to meditate, it says if you're feeling better at the end of it, you're probably doing it right. So that's pretty a blanket statement.
That's a pretty good observation, I guess. If you feel better, well, then you're doing something right. Anything that'll make you feel better should be good.
So when people are thinking about body, environment, and time, are you people, like, because you were telling me earlier that like when the first thing a lot of people think about, or when you wake up, is their body, what they need to do, and their problems, and when they have to get to work, right?
Yeah, their environment, right.
Why did you say what? You said time, but you didn't really go into exactly what was.
Well, because everything operates through time. You got to do this. You got to do everything operates through time. And when we're talking about tapping into this place, there's no time. Time doesn't really exist. You're just seeing a new, different world. You're creating a new experience, and time's not really involved in it. You're just creating it. You're making it. But there's really no such thing as time. But when we live in our world of body and environment, there's always time involved. That's,
Then you're talking about, when you're talking about meditating, you're talking about connecting to that intelligence.
Yes, what I believe to be a greater intelligence, because I have experienced that myself. In other words, the things that I'm experiencing now, the things that I'm going through now, I have never experienced in all my life when I was in that old state of body, environment, and time. That was when I had all my problems. That's when I had stress, and that's when I worried. That's when I created problems. That's when I had a really bad relationships, and when I had all of these things going on in my life, was when my thinking was on body, environment, and time. So when I've learned now to go into this other place, everything's changed. I mean, ideas that I had never thought in all my life that are making my life much better now, they exist now. And I'm always tapping into them now, and it's easier for me to get to that place now. And when I get to that place, I just see more things. Everything more is expanding. My view of the world is becoming much clearer. Now I'm more relaxed about everything. Now I'm not stressed about anything anymore. I don't worry about anything anymore. So it has totally changed everything, because my concepts are brand new and different. They're much better than what they were before. Because that's why I say it's a higher form of intelligence that you're tapping into.
And what is that intelligence giving you, or what is it?
Well, what I believe it to be, the only thing that I have come up with, my conclusion is that it is this intelligence that has, like I said earlier when I was saying it, that has your heart beating all the time, that gave you life, that has you breathing without thinking about it, and it continues to give you life, and it gives everything life. That I believe that's a greater intelligence. I mean, I think about it as intelligence. I think it's a good way to look at it, a greater intelligence. And then when you put more attention on that intelligence, you separate yourself from your limited intelligence. That's what you're doing. You're separating yourself from your limited intelligence, because our intelligence is really limited on what you've experienced in the past, what you've learned in the past. That's all what you're limited to. That's all you can know is what you've already learned before. That's all you know. But when you go into this place, the whole brand new world opens up. Whole brand new world. Infinite ideas, infinite possibilities are available there when you go to that place. And the only way you're gonna find this, believe this, is you have to just take yourself to that place. But you can't do it one time. You got to do it over and over. And to tap into that higher intelligence, that greater intelligence, the more you practice it, and remember, practice makes perfect, right? Everything that we get better at, everything we practice. So the more you practice it, the better you get at it, the quicker you can take your mind to that place. I mean, when I started years ago trying to do that, I had a lot of trouble, because my mind kept wanting to think about what I had going on in my life. So I had a lot of trouble with it. But I concentrated all my attention on doing it and accomplishing it. Now, I mean, as the years have gone by now, because I do that 2-3 hours a day every day, now I can sit down. Usually I'll have me a cup of coffee, sit down, and not the coffee has anything to do with it, but I'll have me a cup of coffee, sit down and relax. And within a matter of minutes, I'm there in that state. And I can get myself right into it in a matter of minutes, and where I'm totally relaxed. I look around me where I am, and I can see the beauty, and I can see the life in the tree. When I say I see the life in the trees, I see the life in everything around me. I don't literally see it, but I can imagine it all working. I see the trees getting their life from the ground, coming up into them. I can see the sun giving them life through the leaves. I just see that. So see, my mind is off my own environment, my own problems, my own situations, my own body. And when I can see that, see the life flowing through everything, I'm in a much higher state of mind. This is a greater life. I didn't create it. You didn't create it. Something greater is doing it. That's why I say it's an intelligence.
And you said earlier that you feel like that intelligence has love behind it.
Yes.
Why do you feel that way?
Well, I feel it must be love because think about us, for example. Think about yourself. What if you could give life like that? Give life to a person. You personally could do it. If you could give life to a person and then give them this great mind that we talk about here, the mind is great. You know, people use it against themselves because they haven't learned that your mind is a great, infinite source to create all the good that you want. Imagine yourself, if you could give life to a person and you were capable of giving it that mind that it could create a beautiful experience for itself and live a beautiful life. You think there would be hate behind? Would you do that for a hateful reason, or would you do it for loving? Would you love? Would love be behind it, or would hate be behind it?
Well, I guess love.
I think love would be behind it. If you could create such a beautiful thing, I don't think there'd be hate behind it. That's why I say that source, that intelligence must love us. Why did it do that? You see, here's the problem. What I see, too many people have this problem. Too many people look at the negative things going on around in the world, and they think that that's what that source created, this negative world where we have war and killing. But that's because of ignorance. That's because people have not learned the truth about themselves. That's all it is. Because once you learn the truth about this yourself, and the truth about yourself is that you were given a beautiful mind to think whatever you want. There isn't anybody out there right now that is listening to my voice and can say that you cannot think whatever you want, because it's not true. You can think anything that you want. You can think that this is a miserable world, or you can think that this is a beautiful world and that your life is transforming into a beautiful, beautiful experience. You can imagine anything you want to. You can take your mind to any place in this world. That's why I said mind can travel and go anywhere it wants. You can take your mind to a beautiful island in Hawaii. You can be in your mind laying beneath a palm tree, sipping on your favorite drink, whatever it is, and just enjoying the breeze and feeling love. You can do that all you want to. Or you can just keep thinking about hate and war, and you can keep thinking about that. But remember, you personally might not be causing the war. You personally might not be at fault for any of the war going on. So you can create a beautiful experience for yourself. And believe me, when you create a beautiful experience for others, are going to want to know what you're doing. Okay, so we're going to take a short break right now. And remember, you're listening to Kcaa 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and 102.3 FM on the Truth Only Show. That's all we have for you. Nothing but the truth. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back to the Truth Only Show. That song is called When I Come Back to You. That's also the Bell City Players. And check them out online, Bell City Players. You were talking about intelligence right before we left, and you said you wanted to add something to it.
I want to add that question about love that we had someone ask about love. Why would it love you? Well, I just gave you the example of if you could create something beautiful and give life to something like that. But not only that, look around. Open your eyes to the beauty. Look at the beautiful flower. Look at the hundreds of thousands of different types of beautiful flowers and the beauty and a beautiful sunset and all this beauty that we are surrounded by. And a lot of us never really pay attention to it, but it's there. And there's just so many things. There's beautiful animals. Look at all the beautiful birds. And, I mean, just create all that beauty. There must be love behind it. There must be love behind it. That's what I think.
So when you were describing when you're meditating and you see, you're talking about you're noticing like the plants and what's going on around you, and I think that reminds me because I've done meditation before too, and for me it wasn't as consistent as you say, like you're able to get into it real quick, but there has been times where I'm practicing mindfulness meditation where you're just paying attention to whatever's happening right now. You're being in the moment is what it really is.
Yeah.
And that's really what it sounds like when you're describing, when you say you're noticing the trees, you could see this and that. That's really about being in the moment.
Right.
And I think that's what you're experiencing. And I think that's probably where people need to get to first before they can start thinking about what they want to do, what channeling their focus.
Right.
But we have a caller, and I believe it's our friend Bill.
Yes.
Bill McLeod. Hello, Bill.
Hi. How are you this morning?
Hey, Bill, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing fine. I'm here getting my inspiration by listening to the program, and I was just getting excited about what you were saying. And so I said I wanted to say something, because you made me think of a lot of things, and so I was going to add a little bit, if it's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why we want to hear what you got to say.
Okay, well, when you were talking about time,
what
came to my mind was this. We are told what to think. And so that means we are thinking limits and limitations.
Right.
When you seek intelligence, you are seeking how to think. Because all of our lives we're told what to think, but we're not told how to think. So intelligence opens up the mind that there's no limits to it.
Right.
So I think that was the real big differences, and that's what I got from that. I was so excited. I said, well, I got something here that I probably need to explain. It's passing up the limitations, and it's going to the no limits when you think intelligence. So that was kind of what I felt I wanted to add, and I thought that was the whole program was good. In other words, we don't know how to build a pyramid, but I think if we grow more intelligent, we might learn how.
Well, maybe even greater.
Yeah, maybe even greater things, right?
Well, I mean, we're always discovering greater, right, Bill?
So, yeah, that's right. So that's what I was doing. I got a great inspiration from listening to the show. I really think everybody should listen to you, because you make it so clear and make it so easy to understand if they listen.
Well, thank you very much, Bill, and we always appreciate having you. We've had you on the show. For the people that don't know, we've had Bill on our show before. 87-year-old wise man. He's very wise, very sharp, strong. Believe me, the person that you guys are listening to right now on the show is a strong, wise, sharp, intelligent person. So I thank you very much, Bill, for calling in and giving us some of your good wisdom.
Right. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was great. Thank you, Bill.
Right.
Okay.
Talk to you later. Bye. So now that you're talking, we've talked all about how the benefits of it for you, and what it feels like. How do you stop thinking about your body and environment and time? Because I know that there's a lot of people that try to do meditation and then they try it for a while and then they give up because they don't really know, is it working? Am I doing it right? And they don't know, or they can't stop their mind from thinking about their body, environment, and time. How do we do it?
Well, that was the reason why I decided today I was going to talk about meditation and explain it this way, because if you at least know, how many of you think about it? How many ever thought about that? That's what your mind is always on: body, environment, and time. I think most of us never really thought about that. That's where our mind is all the time. So at least now that you know that, at least now that you know what you have to do, you got to separate yourself from that. So at least you have a starting point. At least you have an idea of what you got to clear out. And it's not really a matter of clearing out. It is just stop for a minute. Stop thinking about your body. Stop thinking about your problems, your issues that you got going on. Stop for a minute and try to begin to look around you. Begin to look at a tree. Begin to imagine the life flowing through that. Begin to look at imagine your cells in your body. Now you're going to something that you never do. You're going to something different. You're thinking something different. That's what I do. I imagine, like I said earlier, I imagine I see the life flowing through the trees. I see it coming from the ground. I see it coming from the sun. I imagine my cells and my atoms and molecules, but operating in perfect harmony. See, you're not used to thinking that. That's how you separate yourself from what I said, body, because you're still thinking about your body, but now you're thinking about it in another way. You're looking much deeper into it and seeing it in harmony, operating in harmony. I believe you can learn to heal your body that way. When you begin to see harmony, because remember, what you think about the most is what you are going to experience. If you think about your problems, you will continue to have more problems. So if you think about love, you experience more love. If you think about hate, you experience more hate. So if you think about harmony in your cells and your atoms and your molecules, if you think about them operating in harmony, I believe you're going to one day they're going to be operating that way. They're going to begin to operate in perfect harmony. You will begin to heal your body.
I think the thing that you were saying about look at a tree or focus on something in your body, that is basically how people describe how to get into that state. It's about focusing your attention
on something what you're not used to focusing. You're used to focusing on your body and all your problems.
That's why they say focus on your breathing. Like you focus on one point and where it's going in and out, and you just focus on that, and that's all you do. Or another way is people will kind of just stare at something, like focusing your attention on something and just look at it, and that will also. Yeah. So you're breaking the pattern of thinking about your daily life. And the other thing that the other way they describe, it's kind of saying the same thing that you're saying: your body, your environment, your time, and that's why they say being in the moment, because they think people are always thinking about either the past or the future, and they're not in the moment because they're thinking about their future problems that they're going to deal with, or the future hassles that they have, or they're thinking about the past mistakes, but they're never thinking about right now. So that's the whole idea of attention, putting your attention on something that's right now, like staring at a tree, or
when I say
focusing on your breathing.
Yeah, when I say focus on a tree, I'm really saying focus on a greater intelligence, greater intelligence that gives that life, that makes that all possible. So now you're beginning to tap on something greater, a greater intelligence. That's why I mentioned it, to do that.
Yeah.
So, okay, well,
we're pretty much out of time, but I think that covers meditation pretty well, and how it gives you a basic idea how to get into it.
Where to place your mind to get into it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And well, before we go off the air, I have a very important announcement or advertise, whatever you want to call
Reminder.
it. A reminder. If you have or know someone who has an irregular heartbeat, slow or a fast heartbeat, experiences dizziness, fainting, or any other symptoms related to the heart, even if you not really sure if they are related to the heart, I highly recommend the brilliant Dr. Trong Duong. He's an electrophysiologist, and his number is 877-773-8664. Remember, 877-773-8664.
Mm-hmm. And you can also go to truthonlyshow.com and keep up with us there with our past videos and contact us through email or Facebook. And if you like the music today, go to the bellcityplayers.bandcamp.com.
Okay, and I want to remind you, you're listening to the David Paul Band. I recommend you go to davidpaulmusic.com. Check out the calendar for a fantastic night of entertainment. You will be very pleased. So have a great week, and we will see you again next week.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, 106.5 FM, and now 102.3 FM.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
It's playoff time in hockey and basketball. I'm Jeff Nathanson. Let's start with the NHL because tonight is Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Final.